Mocaso, and we are here for another Women in Meta Monday, where we actually come into the metaverse and have iron sharpening conversations where we talk about those things that are, yes, going to sharpen each other's iron, because us sharing our perspectives and ideas is what does just that. And if you never have been into the WIM Treehouse, this space was created just for us women, where you can come and actually listen to all the replays on the first floor. And now usually we do have our conversation on the second floor, where we have pedicure chairs. But it is so nice out here in Tulum that I decided I actually want to just sit on this nice little picnic bench, right? Because who doesn't love a good picnic swing or a porch swing? And I know I do. And this is why I just want to share my conversation today. And shout out to everybody who's listening. We are currently streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So shout out and thank you to everyone that watches there. And appreciate everyone that also listens on the podcast, where you can catch the replay on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and also now iHeartRadio. So every Monday, you guys know, again, we come in here and have these different kind of conversations. A lot of times we're talking about new news. Sometimes, it's just about what we think and digging into that so that we can sharpen each other as we are maneuvering in these spaces. And today we are talking about the trailblazers in the space that we are grateful for. And so I thought this was a very interesting topic because, again, when you're younger, it says, you have those different projects where it says, well, who is your role model? And write a paper talking about who your role model is. And that kind of stuff becomes important because it makes a person look inward at those things that they value and almost like what they aspire to be. Because, sometimes it's harder when we're looking at ourselves and to see it for ourselves. But when it's other people, it's easy for us to see flaws or easy for us to even see what they're doing well. And so I thought it would be great to actually have today's session be talking about those trailblazers that we're grateful for, that have already been down the path that we are embarking on. And so from my perspective, if you don't know, I have declared myself a meta producer in this space because, as you see, I've produced this meta series that you're currently watching, which is Women in the Metaverse. I've thought of the name, they've been putting together the weekly events, and it's been amazing people that help orchestrate it and attend. But at the end of the day, you see, it's me sitting here having this kind of conversation every single Monday, no matter if anybody else shows up, and still coming up with topics and still coming up with content and still making sure it's getting out there to all of our listeners. And I take that role very seriously as a meta producer, especially understanding the substance and the kind of content that I even want to produce. And I take that serious because I understand that we're early in this space. And so instead of being so concerned about how many people are watching it right now, I tell the people, those 20 of you that are, how much it's appreciated and that I see you and that you're early too, and encourage you to keep watching as well. And being able to, again, dig into those that have been there, done that, I'm very excited to do that. And so this week, again, talking about who we're grateful for. At being a meta producer, I really had to start looking inward at who I was aspiring to be, aside from everyone else, and who has walked the path that I have walked. And I'm really looking inward at that kind of gratitude, because I'm such a giving person. I'm always thinking about how I can be an aid to others and how I can help others get to that next step, physical to digital, and again, being this adhesive and, this puzzle piece all the time. And so I thought back as to one of my first big school projects that I really, really remember putting like a lot into. And it was that same write a letter about somebody that you admire. And I remember being in middle school, and it was like, write who your role model is, write an essay about them, and we had to actually do research. This was, when you're in middle school and you're learning how to research and read articles and, all different kind of things. And I actually did my paper on Oprah Winfrey. And so I would say that is the first trailblazer that I am personally grateful for, because I think it's very obvious, right? She has her own network. She has her own magazine. She has her own product. She has her own brand. She had her own talk show that was successful. She had her own books. And not even so much that, it was all about like her having her own, although it was, because that also helped her become a billionaire. It just showed how she can be so successful in that lane on being able to produce content that people enjoyed watching, right? Because before that, who would have thought that you would have enjoyed watching doctors or people come on and talk about their stories and different things like that? But until she actually said, every single day at 4 p.m., I'm going to go on TV and I'm going to host different people. And we're going to talk about different things, and we're going to keep going until we get everything and more. And so that's what I think about on days like today, where it's 4 p.m. and I'm like, y'all know I'm live, because I took note of that. And I took note of that's why Oprah was able to become successful, because of that prime time. And although my prime time is still a prime time, it's also finding that right audience, tapping in and getting those right collaborations with the right people to then be on a show as well. And so when I think about that, then I start evolving and thinking about, okay, well, now that Oprah was one of those people that really, opened up that door, or not even opened up the door, but really gave a great example. And I will say opened the door, because she did, and especially for my generation, on seeing that and being that example that we can. It's like, okay, well then who came after her behind that door, following that blueprint? And you can see producers like Tyler Perry, right, who went from writing their own shows, again, having this vision and, their own perspective that people may not have caught on initially, but believing in that and chasing it and going after it, into now where they have their own production studios, right, that are employing so many people, and again, able to empower them. Because aside from, me having my own shows, we also have this P2d network that enables anybody to come and put their show on here. We have these amazing spaces here that we want anybody to be able to use. Okay, and this isn't a great video of a roundabout, but you guys have seen the space, and any woman can come and rent this space, or anybody can come and rent this treehouse for any event that they want to have in the metaverse. And they can do that, and we can stream it, and again, it has that same production value, but in a digital way. So then I have to, look at people like Tyler Perry, who then shows that, and who he has inspired, right? Or even people like Spike Lee, who has been around directing, or even also people like Issa Rae, who is like very modern. That is one of the trailblazers that is inspiring me a lot these days, because like I said, she's young, and she's also very down to earth. And for someone like myself, where trying to not necessarily find my voice, but again, here, as we are on a metacast, there's different personas, and you have to be very, very mindful of how you even present yourself, right, on the internet and in these different situations. And so I really admire how Issa Rae has put herself in that like funny but serious and respectful way, and it's because of her work, and her work shows that. And so, when I look at these different trailblazers that have gone down the path similar to myself, and they are all also colored or black, whatever you want to call them, African American, whatever the correct terminology is nowadays of people in that space. But it matters, because if you're not a melanated person, you don't understand what it's like to be the only melanated person in those spaces, that has been made clear that space is purposefully like that in a way. And so that's why I commend those trailblazers like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Issa Rae, that have inspired producers like myself that come into the metaverse and go after our dreams. And so welcome, Wonderly. We are here for Women in the Metaverse, where we're streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So I'm not sitting here talking to myself like a crazy person. But so happy that you've joined. And so our conversation for today has been, who is a trailblazer that is inspiring you and that you're grateful for? And so I was wondering if you would like to share. Is there anybody that you kind of look up to in the space, that you're following their path and kind of are following their path in this space? If not, that's okay. And I don't think so.
I'm visiting for first time in Metaverse.
Oh, that's cool. Well, what inspired you to come into the Metaverse?
I'm learning yet.
Yay. Well, learning is good. And there's a lot to learn. Is there anybody that you like learning from in the space? And if not, let's see here. I see you there. Okay. So super cool. Well, no problem. I appreciate you for joining here in the space. We have this conversation every Monday, and this is a treehouse in Tulum that we open up for women to come and have these different iron sharpening conversations. And so I was just saying, how me being a meta producer, I'm inspired by other producers that have been in the physical. But, being big here in Web3 and in the digital sphere, I would say one of those trailblazers that also inspire me is a woman by the name of A Conundrum. And I would say that is a trailblazer that I'm grateful for because, being in this space, I've been in crypto and in this digital space for years now. And there's a lot of people that you come up in around the same time. Like, I remember starting at Instagram the same time BitBoy started at Instagram, and A Conundrum, and a lot of these other influencers. And I really respected all of the influencers that were coming in and really attacking a real message, because there were a lot that were coming in and teaching people how to have a 6-figure business and fire your boss and fix your credit, and a lot of different things that I'm sure people are still kind of working out right now. And in my opinion, we're setting them in a path to be going backward, where there are people like A Conundrum who, like myself, seen what was happening and took this as an opportunity to find the resources, share the resources, and create from there. And so not only is her page dedicated to just always sharing awareness and news, but also she has the first Black virtual mall. And before the Metaverse was a big thing that was like, this hot topic, and I don't want to say before it was a big thing because it's been around for some years now, but before it became as popular as it is now, because more and more people have, Oculuses, that was one of those first instances where, we're getting into NFTs and digital fashion, and people are wondering, how is this going to even work? What is the point of all of this stuff? And her having that Black virtual mall was a great example to say, this is the way shopping is about to go. This is the way this is about to look. It's a movie theater in there. It's a kiosk in there where you can go and promote your business in there, or others that's walking through would see your business just like an actual mall. And so, and I have friends that were actually in the mall, and again, seeing how she also sold products to help other people digitize their business. it again inspired me, because she's an older woman, and so I always looked at her like an older version of myself. Especially, we both wear glasses, we both have locks. Hers are really long, and she just looks very like a very mature version of myself, and it's like one of those things when they tell you to like, envision yourself as if like you were your best self. She's a very close image almost of what I would even imagine myself as, right, with how I carry myself and how I present myself. And so that's a trailblazer that when I am posting, and I'm, I'm not doing any of the cool TikTok dances, or maybe a lot of people aren't, grasping my message. I think about trailblazers like her and understand that, there's a bigger mission, and if we're all putting in towards that mission, then we're all helping each other. And so I'm just in this space to continue to be that same example to others, show and inspire others along the way, to show you that you can start at any stage as well. And we're all growing, we're all learning, and we can all do that together. So if you want to do the same, you guys know you're always welcome to actually click the link and come join the conversation. I would love to hear what others have to say as well, because you guys know I put out the question, I come with my answer. If others come with theirs, then we'll keep the conversation going. Otherwise, we'll keep it a little quick, because I know I dropped the little gems in my responses, and I hope that my listeners appreciate that and enjoyed that, and also think and resonate with yourself and those that are trailblazing that path for you, and what you're grateful for them about, so that again, just like I said, I can self-reflect and think, hey, that's how I can see myself, and almost thinking about my content and their content, and and then not being a comparison, but again making you feel not so like alone in a sense, right? Because again, we are all walking these lonely paths when we're chasing after our dreams, because there's not many that see our vision just like us. And so when we see those trailblazers that did that same thing, they had that vision and went after it no matter what, those lessons, that's what will keep us going and achieving that dream just as they have as well. And so I really challenge all of my listeners to go think about who is a trailblazer that they're grateful for, and then drop it in the comments, and I will definitely read it during our next meeting. And y'all see, I haven't started reading any comments because y'all ain't start dropping them yet. So I want to start reading comments so we can keep the conversation going. And you guys see, you can come here anytime to actually watch. And this is what it would look like. I actually put this YouTube video in here because I was having a little dance party before we got started today. And so you can also do the same if you were to come in here, pick a spot, get a bottle of wine, click the link, and listen to the Women in the Metaverse here in the WIM Treehouse, because it was created for all of us to actually enjoy it. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope to see a few of you next Monday. If not, at least make sure you've liked, commented, and subscribed so that you get alerts for our new episodes, and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Peace.